Coach Schmitter here again from Prime Fitness and Sports Training. Today we're going to be going over how to do a proper push-up. Now, I see a lot of different variations of push-ups when people first come in and I ask them to show me how they do a push-up, especially with young kids. Now, I believe people have the best of intentions, but it seems that in PE classes, in a bunch of different sports that they play, people are like, oh, we're going to do some extra work, we're going to do some strength work, and they know what a push-up is, so they have kids perform push-ups. Unfortunately, if you don't know the proper technique or the right way to progress or prescribe the reps and things like that, especially individually when you're doing it in a team setting, it can be a little bit more difficult because different kids are going to be at different stages and strengths, okay? So unfortunately what happens from this is we get kids doing all different kinds of push-ups because they just want to get it done. They don't want to be behind their friends. They don't want to be the one who's holding the group back. So they find any way they can to get themselves down and up. And a lot of times this results in very poor push-up technique. So today I'm going to teach you how to do a great push-up, all right? How to teach it to your kid. And then once you know the proper push-up and you teach it to them, if they then are not strong enough to perform it in that way, then I'm going to teach you a couple drills that you can use to improve their strength to then get them to perform those good technique push-ups, okay? So let's go right into the technique of things. The first thing we're going to do is get set up, and we want to get set up in what we call our push-up plank position, which is basically just what you think of as the top of the push-up. I'm going to have my hands about shoulder width apart. My feet are straight back, I'm on my toes. My shoulders are just above my wrists, so I'm in a nice straight line there, okay? And my body is in a nice straight line. My head is not sagging down, it's not looking up. It's nice and neutral with the rest of my spine, okay? My butt is kept tight, my belly is tight, I'm not sagging, I'm not protruding. This is a common one you see, butt way up in the air, okay? I'm in a nice straight line. So first we gotta get into this position. From there, what we're gonna do, and I wanna get up so you can see this, is I'm literally gonna think about kind of screwing my hands out against the ground. What that's gonna do is place a good kind of torque on your shoulder, okay? So as you screw out, we're gonna place a good torque on the shoulder, and that's also gonna align the elbows where we want them to as we descend into the push-up. So you'll see as I actually do the rep when I go down. Now, when you do push up out of the bottom, then now you're gonna go the opposite way and kind of let the elbows kick back out as you lock out. So I'm gonna show you here a couple good push-ups from the side. So in my proper setup, I'm screwing my elbows out, my hands out against the ground. I drop down, press up. All right. Notice too, as I go down, I'm floating just above the ground. So I'm all the way down, but I'm not going, belly to the ground or anything like that. Let me show you a couple reps facing straight on to the camera so you can see, again, the relationship of where my hands are in relation to my shoulders and then also where my elbows are going. All right, so there you have a few good reps of perfect push-ups. One more thing that you want to look for that you want to notice is the shoulder blades, okay? Because you're not locked onto a bench like you would if you're doing like a dumbbell bench or a barbell bench press, the shoulder blades should be allowed to move freely, and therefore they should move freely as you do a good push-up. So as you go down, you kind of want the shoulder blades to come together, and as you press up, you want them to come apart a little bit, all right? So that's another thing that you can look for. Make sure as the athlete is going down and then up that those shoulder blades are moving accordingly, okay? So there you have, that's good push-up technique. If you now try this with your kid, you teach it to your young athlete, and they cannot perform a proper push-up like that. Say they get to the bottom and boom, they splat on their face, okay? Now I'm gonna teach you 2 drills that you can use to get them stronger in order to eventually be able to do that perfect push-up. Okay, so the first drill that we're gonna use in order to improve the push-up is just to see if they can hold that push-up plank position, which is just the top portion of the push-up. If your athlete or your kid cannot even hold that top portion for, we'll say, 30 seconds to really ideally about a minute, all right? If they can't hold that position, then they're definitely not gonna be able to do a good push-up. So now you can start working on this and building up over time. Anytime you're doing any sort of plank like this, you wanna just go for the amount of time that they can hold the position perfectly. If they start to sag down, as you'll see, as I'll show you in a second, if they start to sag down or the butt starts flying up in the air, all right, as soon as technique breaks down, the movement is no longer doing anything good for us. So that's when you wanna stop. So once they can hold that position perfect for about 30 seconds to a minute, now you can start progressing them on to the next, push-up technique that I'm gonna show you. So let's look at this top portion again, kind of go over it. Remember, hands are about shoulder width, shoulders are above the wrists, toes are straight back, butt's tight, belly's tight, head is neutral with the rest of the body, and I'm just holding this position. Now, what you're looking for when it breaks down is already starting to sag down. That means as soon as you see that arch start to happen in the back, that means their abs are no longer doing what they need to do. They're no longer contracted, they've fatigued too much, so they can't hold the body up anymore, okay? So again, we're gonna stop the set when that happens. The other thing you wanna look for is as they're getting tired, they might start going butt up in the air like this, okay? That's again, taking the tension off the abs because the abs are not strong enough to hold you in that position, okay? It can also take a little stress off the shoulders from that, from the right position, okay? So when you see that, stop the set as well. So let's build up to 30 seconds to a minute in that proper push-up plank position, and then we can move on to the next drill. Okay, so the next drill that should take us all the way to being able to perform proper push-ups is what we call an eccentric push-up. Eccentric is simply just gonna be the lowering phase of the push-up. So what you're gonna do is have the athlete get into a good push-up position, that good top position, and then screwing the hands in just like we learned, keeping the elbows at a good angle to the body, all right? They're gonna lower themselves and fight and use their muscles to lower it as slowly as possible. Keep it nice and straight, slow, slow, slow. Then when they get all the way to the ground, they're gonna pop back up, all right? But not actually doing that concentric part of the push-up. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Okay, so as you can see, again, we're just focusing on that lowering phase. All the technique points are the same that we learned during the regular push-up. As soon as you get all the way to the ground, you kind of go back to your knees, pick your butt up, get back to that top position, and right into the next rep. What we're gonna do here is progress this, all right? You can time how long it takes them to get down, all right? Once they're doing, I would say once they're doing 10 reps, with like a 6 count on the way down, they should have built up enough strength to start doing at least a few good regular push-ups. But it's all a test thing, You build this stuff up over time. Maybe the first day they do 3 sets of 3 eccentric push-ups, and it's only taking them, 3 seconds is the max that they can slow themselves on the way down, okay? Maybe they start there, and then you build that slowly, all right, over days and weeks. And then just keep trying, keep testing, can they do a regular push-up with that good technique yet? And once they can, even once they can do 1 good push-up, then you start doing multiple sets of 1. You can do 5, 6, 7, 10 sets of 1, and then you start increasing to sets of 2 once they can do 2. All right, it's all a slow cooking, building process. All right, we don't go right from 5 push-ups to 100 push-ups. It's just not the way it works. Now they might make some quick jumps and some quick gains sometimes, and that's great, but we have to be ready to be patient and increase this stuff over time, especially doing it with proper technique. All right, so there you have it, perfect push-up plus 2 ways to progress it.